listening to Unravel with Natly Denise.
Uh-oh, what's going on with my camera? What up? What up? Let me try to figure this out. On. Come on. Power up. Power up. What's going on? There we have it. What's going on, guys? Let's try this again. Hold on. Of course, I didn't plan this out. Oh, look. Let me turn on the lights, too. I swear, I prepared for everything except for that. Just been thrown into a loop today. As you guys may have heard, I got my second strike over in the main channel. So I'm working as expeditiously as I can on this channel. So bear with me, but welcome everybody. Welcome to those that follow this channel, Unravel with Natly Denise. This is going to be the best bet, I think, for the next 2 weeks. So if you guys see anybody you're familiar with in the comments, actually that's a good idea. I should actually go to my comments and get people to come on to this channel, because I don't think a lot of people know that I go live here, but it's okay. So I have a full lineup for you guys, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't know how to combat this. I mean, I try my best to, I have been monitoring my words lately, but they dinged me on my old videos. I had like an original podcast, and I was a little bit more based, and I would use more language that was not popular, or at least is not very popular today. And so they dinged me on another video. So I had to go through and delete those videos. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Let's just jump straight in. But before I do, please remember that I do have Counter-Trafficking Alliance. If you guys have not submitted a volunteer form, please go to countertraffickingalliance.com. There is a volunteer form there, and you can literally volunteer and do anything from your skill set. So I am in the planning stages of how to launch this with other alliances. And so with that being said, it is still in its infancy stages, but we're planning some big things. All right, let's get straight to it. Of course, of course, this is not set up. It's all right. Got this. All right, done. And then let's get the browser. Of course. Here we go. Brave. All right. Got it through. Get it. Got it. Good. All right. So let's start off with Merrick Garland. He's been very much in the headlines for, coming against parents, coming against, these school board meetings. And I'm not sure if I reported it. I think maybe I was on a suspension while this happened. But apparently it broke news that there was a school board that actually that collaborated with the Biden administration to send out the letter that they sent out to them. And they basically called hey, Biden administration, we need Secret Service, we need FBI, we need all these people to please come to our aid, because these parents are just, they're terrorists. They're coming to the board meetings, and how dare they fight for their kids' education. And so Merrick Garland then he sent out that one memo that did condemn parents at school board meetings and basically called them, domestic terrors, and, basically that they were going to have a big eye on these parents. Well, it's not without fruit, because now he's actually sending helicopters. Hey, Dee, thank you so much for that generous contribution and that hippo sticker. That looks like my pit bull bow. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. So Garland, he is sending the feds out for parents. And so he actually sent them out to Fairfax. Garland's feds go after parents' mother protesting porn on curriculum, shares photo of federal law enforcement cars outside school board meeting after AG told FBI to crack down on parents. This is coming from the Daily Mail. A mother of 6 who led the charge to remove sexually explicit books from school libraries has claimed federal law enforcement officials flew helicopters and stationed cop cars around outside a school board meeting in Virginia to intimidate parents after AG Merrick Garland was accused of treating parents like terrorists. Stacey Langdon, she appeared on Fox News and Fox and Friends on Wednesday and claimed that federal agents in unmarked law enforcement vehicles were seen outside the board meeting in Fairfax County Public Schools last week. So let's just take a look at what this parent had to say. So here is a tweet right here. Stacey Langdon, the mother, said, went to FCP News last night, school board meeting last night, heavy Fed presence, unmarked Fed vehicles, DHS.gov vehicles, even helicopters circling overhead with spotlight on moms and dads. Can you guys believe that? Okay, so let's take a look at what this parent had to say to Fox News.
Will FBI agents be attending local school board meetings?
No, FBI agents will not be attending local school boards meetings, and there's nothing in this memo to suggest that.
That was last week on October 21st, last Thursday, when the Attorney General Merrick Garland insisted the FBI would not be present at school board meetings. But my next guest says the feds and a helicopter were sent to intimidate parents at a school board meeting that very night in Fairfax County, Virginia. Fairfax, Virginia mom of 6, Stacey Langdon, joins us now. Hey, Stacey.
Hi, Ainsley.
Good morning. So you're saying he was wrong. They were there that night. The feds, you saw the feds there that night, right?
Right, and I don't think it was a coincidence because we had actually done a protest at the Department of Justice on Sunday, October 17th. So 4 days prior to the school board meeting, we were there at 3 p.m. on Constitution Avenue, standing in front of the Department of Justice. And, you know, we had about 45 parents, and we had a very peaceful, uneventful protest for 1 hour. There were many DHS marked vehicles at the DOJ with us that day. And, you know, then we go to the school board meeting on Thursday night, and all of a sudden, this has never happened before. We have federal vehicles there. We had the DHS vehicle that you saw, which I posted a picture of. I took that photo. And we had several of the what they call ghost cars, which are the unmarked police vehicles for different agencies. Some may have been Fairfax County, some may have been FBI. You know, they were charcoal gray, they were the white ones. And then we had a helicopter, a literal helicopter overhead, you know, that was circling. And it just, the absurdity of this, you know, it was a group of 25 parents, and, you know, we were waving at the helicopter because it was shining its spotlight down on us. And this is something that is incredible in America, and it's, you know, ridiculously un-American. And honestly, I have paid a heavy price because of what I said at my school board meeting on September 23rd about the pornography and the pedophilia that I found in my son's high school at Fairfax High School.
So let me just cut in and tell you guys what's going on. So actually, this was reported as well. There was a journalist at, I believe, it was a different school board meeting, but I actually reported this on a prior podcast where, you know, these curriculums are allowing for, you know, this type of like, it is essentially like pornographic material in the libraries, where, you know, this book in particular, there is like a little boy and he's basically performing, you know, the act of doing something to a man with the genitalia and all that. And I'm trying real hard to like keep it 100 here and not like ding myself on this channel because this is like my other last leg. But basically, yeah, that's what's going on. So, of course, these parents are like mad and they're trying to protest and like speak up on their children. Like, yo, like, this is not cool. Like, look at this. Like, how are you going to have this and think that this is okay? So anyway, I just think that that's outrageous. You know, there's really nothing else to say on that. You know, obviously the school board doesn't want, you know, this going out to the public. And also, you know, this is actually, something they're trying to conceal. There was another incident that I keep talking about. I talked about it yesterday, where Loudoun County in Virginia, Stonebridge High School, where actually the teen that was accused of sexually assaulting another teen, this teen identified as a female, had access to the bathroom, basically had access to assault this other student. And the judge actually found that student guilty today. I think today or a day. Actually, I have that story right here. But, there's a lot of activity. Actually, that's not it. Where is it? That's not it. So the judge actually found that teen guilty, and so yesterday I talked about this. Actually, yes, yesterday I did talk about this. Barack Obama was basically saying that this was a fake outrage. This is over outrage and all these things. But yet this teen was found guilty. Well, this is a different scenario where, we are over sexualizing children and allowing this to happen. And so, it's escalating, where now parents are being almost hunted down by the feds. They sent helicopters, unmarked vehicles to this school board meeting. So it's just starting to escalate. So that actually happened in Fairfax County, Virginia. So still in Virginia, different county, where these school boards are like rejecting the parents. So there's more to come, but I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. How is it that, these curriculums are becoming so bold, where, they're actually allowing for this type of like sexual exploitation, CSE, what it's called, child sexual exploitation material, CSEM. I think CSE is like the official term, but they're literally allowing for this to happen. Now parents are being dinged for fighting for their own freedoms. But I mean, that's how scared the system is for us to like actually protest and mobilize. But that's going on in Virginia. And there's actually a gubernatorial candidate, I believe he's a Democrat, McAuliffe, and he actually pushes for this type of stuff. He's basically, his I think his overarching message is like, parents have no right to be in the school curriculum, what their children are learning. And he pushes back very heavily on this type of stuff, just like this DOJ is. So pivoting on to the next news, a judge rejects pilot's bid to block Southwest vaccine mandate. Cheese and crackers. I said it. I usually say the poke in the arm, cheese and crackers. Okay. So a federal judge has rejected an effort by pilots to block Southwest Airlines from imposing the 𝘏𝑗𝐽 19 mandate, saying that the carrier has the right to require employees to get their shots. And it continues, U.S. District Judge Barbara Lynn denied the request by Airlines Pilot Union to issue a temporary restraining order against the airline's requirement. The judge ruled Tuesday that the Southwest may lawfully require pokes in the arm to improve safety and maintain its operations. This is coming from CBS News, by the way. Southwest asked employees to get poked in the arm against the 𝘏𝑗𝐽 to comply with the Biden administration requirement for federal contractors, including airlines that have contracts with the government. In recent days, the airline has weakened the requirement by saying workers who fail to comply won't be fired. Southwest has openly encouraged employees to ask for medical or religious exemption from being poked in the arm if they object to getting the pokes. So Dallas-based Southwest is giving employees until November 24th to provide proof of the poke in the arm or request an exemption. 𝘏𝑗𝐽 pokes requirements have proved contentious for the other airlines as well. Some unpoked employees at United Airlines are challenging the company's poke policy in court. As part of the case, the company said it's paying nearly $3 million a month to keep hundreds of employees, including some pilots who refuse to get poked on paid leave. So I actually have some developments on that now. The thing that I can say about this is you can probably expect that there's going to be a lot more pushback. And that's not something that is conclusive, or that's not anything that I know conclusively. I'm just assessing this from, the past few weeks where, there have been thousands of flights that were canceled because of this. I could only imagine that a lot more is going to happen for Southwest if they do pursue this route where they're going to put a lot more pressure on their employees to, go down a route of religious exemption or turn over a card that says, yeah, I got poked in the arm. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Michael. Hi, American Misfit. Nice to have you guys on. And thank you so much, D, again. And that's just an assumption I'm making. This is like a guesstimate that I'm making that you're probably going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see a lot more pushback. We saw it a couple weeks ago where, again, all these flights were canceled. But if this is going to persist, I can only imagine that these employees are probably going to take the same route, that we saw a couple weeks ago. Now, there have been Southwest employees that have been in contact with myself, and if you are in Dallas, you want to keep an eye out on my communications, whether it be on my Telegram or my Instagram. There might be something coming in November. So if you're in the Dallas area, or if you're in Texas and you're willing to travel to Dallas, there might be something out there. And please provide that word out to your Dallas area or Texas area friends, because we would like a lot of support for this. So anyway, more to come on that. It's not conclusive just yet, but there might be something down the route. All right. Pivoting to the next story, the Denver Post reports Denver attorney Steve Baker, I'm going to say his name is Baker or Bashar, wanted on felony theft fraud charges. And this is actually, before I even go down this story, this person, attorney, what is his name? Steve Bashar, was actually under President Bill Clinton and the Treasury Department before he moved to Denver. So actually worked as a treasury for these people, for these upper echelon elites with the last name that starts with a C. A Denver attorney who last year was accused of mishandling nearly $2 million set aside to purchase masks and gowns during the cocoa plant apocalypse was charged with unrelated felony financial crimes last week and is now wanted by the authorities. Again, this is a person who, good, Margaret, you say, I'm sorry, just interrupting the story. Margaret Gordy says, New York had a 5,000 strong anti-poke rally. Awesome. And I did see footage of that. Okay, so back to this story. This Denver attorney who last year was accused of mishandling nearly $2 million set aside is charged with an unrelated felony financial crimes last week is now wanted by authorities. A warrant was issued October 18th for Steve Bashar, 56, on charges of securities fraud and theft. He is accused of stealing between $100,000 to $1 million, as well as lying to an investor, according to a criminal complaint filed against him by the Denver District Attorney's Office. This is quite a development because, as you guys know, Denver is quite cited on a certain bias. You know what I mean? So this is actually a big development. These crimes were alleged to have happened between October 13th, 2017 and August 8th, 2018, according to the complaint. This is a quote: Stephen Charles Bashar, in connection with the offer, sale, or purchase of a security, directly or indirectly unlawful, feloniously, and willfully made an untrue statement of material fact and omitted to state a material fact necessary in order to make statements made, not misleading the complaint leads. Additional details on the allegations were not immediately available. These are outrageous and founded in false accusations. How many times have we seen that type of statement? Bashar said in a texted statement on Monday, "I'm pleased that we are now engaged in process and will let the facts come to light." So anyway, continued on, Bashar had promised Denver-based DaVita, which is like a dialysis type of company, it's medical, he would provide 4,200 cases of N95 masks in exchange for $4 million in April of 2020, but never provided the masks and failed to return the company's initial payment of $604,000, according to the lawsuit. Another company, Future Health Company, filed a complaint in December, said Bashar failed to pay them $1.2 million for 3 million medical gowns that Future Health sent to the state of Wisconsin. This summer, Bashar was ordered to pay the two companies nearly $4.5 million in two default civil judgments. And again, this person was under the you know what I mean? Like those people, you know what I mean? The people that are, you know, very notorious. But he was a treasury for them. So I'm just saying. I'm not saying anything, but you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's pivot on. Okay, so this is a big scandal in Kentucky, guys. Hey, Rocky. Oh, Rocky, let me make you a mod. Thank you for joining. Let me make you a mod, Rocky, because I do need a mod on this channel. I can't quite. I'll try somehow. Anyway, I'll make you a mod after this. Kentucky High School. This is a scandal, guys. Kentucky High School staff members got lap dances from students. Photos appear to show. So let me actually show you guys these photos before I actually get into this story. This is a scandal. Okay, this is a scandal. Rocky. Can't do anything here. Okay. So take a look at these photos here. This was in Kentucky High School. It says in this tweet from Libs of TikTok, insane mayor of Hazard, Kentucky, who is also the principal of Hazard High School. I'm going to imagine this is a small town for him to be a mayor and a principal, held an assembly with male pageant. The students came dressed as in lingerie and gave lap dances to the staff. And I'm not going to exactly but you guys can kind of look and see here what's going on in these photos. I'm going to click on this photo right here if it'll let me. I'm not sure if it's going to let me. Here, it did. It says in this caption, I scratched out the students in the photo for their privacy. This was posted by Hazard High School in Hazard, Kentucky. And what an ironic name for a town, yeah? Deleted after backlash. Today, their homecoming assembly, they held a male pageant. During this, young male students came out in bikinis, lingerie, tons of skin showing, etc. They proceeded to, as it seems in the photos, give lap dances to the teachers. The school shared these photos. The school did. I personally believe this is ridiculous and incredibly inappropriate for the perspective of a high school student. I can't imagine that what some of the parents are thinking. My question is, who allowed this to be approved? What is the board's opinion on this? So you can see here, they scratched out the students, but look at the staff members that are visibly enjoying this type of activity. So anyway, this is more juice, more sauce on this story. This is coming from USA Today. The superintendent of a Eastern Kentucky school district said appropriate disciplinary action has been taken after photos surfaced showing students giving lap dances to staff as part of Hazard High School's homecoming week festivities. During Hazard High School's homecoming week festivities, students and staff took part in a man pageant and costume day on Tuesday, according to the school's Facebook page. Photos were subsequently taken down from the athletics department's Facebook page, showed students in underclothing giving lap dances to faculty and staff, including Hazard High School's principal, Donald Happy Mobilini, who is also the mayor of Perry County City. Exactly what's going on here, y'all? Come on, Hazard. Nima Brewer, co-founder of education advocacy group KY120 United, wrote in a Tuesday night in a tweet that showed the photos. Get it together. Other photos on the athletics page were later taken down, showed female students dressed up in Hooters outfits, as well as students and staff appearing to paddle one another. Sandra Combs, superintendent of Hazard Independent School, told the Courier Journal in the district, has a tradition of excellence in academics and everything we do, but the incident is being investigated, and once the investigation is complete, appropriate action will be taken. She said in a later statement that the district had handed down a punishment or punishment, is not allowed to disclose any further information regarding the specifics of the discipline because it is a personal matter. Combs said that a student activity committee would be formed to review all student-led activities and that all staff would undergo further training on policies and procedures. Kentucky Department of Education spokeswoman Tony Tatman said that the department is aware what took place in Hazard Independent Schools and has been in contact with the superintendent, who has informed us that the incident is under investigation. So not much else. I mean, this is the main bread and butter of the story, but yeah, I mean, I remember my homecoming was, we had homecoming rallies and we would do mums, right? Like we would have mum contests, or we would have like that would be it. We would do mums. But like having an entire lingerie party, like girls dressed in Hooters, like cheeky shorty shorts, and boys dressed in lingerie and giving lap dances. I mean, I never thought, I never seen anything like that. Have you guys? I mean, this is crazy. But this happened in Kentucky. Apparently, like, they were backlashed, and they did have some sort of, repercussions to all that. But yeah, I mean, this is insanity. I mean, could you imagine? I honestly, my high school, like, I don't remember any of this happening, like, where we were that, like, like, it's insane. It's insanity. Isn't that, like, I don't know. I just think the over-sexualization of our culture is really paving way for young people, and it's really sad. You know what I mean? It's really sad that this is happening to the youth and its culture. And, I think like the best thing we can do right now is like just really, I don't know, like set a new standard, like set a way where we can tell young people, like, you don't necessarily have to do it this way. Like, you don't have to go down this route. And like young boys, like, I feel really bad and sad for them, because it's like our culture is starting to be predicated on this type of thing where it's like, they're thinking this type of stuff is normalized, and that this is a way of life, and this is where we're finding a lot of these problems modern day. I'm going to open the chat. It's going to show for a second. Hold on. I'm trying to get okay. Never mind. It didn't. But yeah, this is going on in Kentucky, and it's just really crazy that, our culture is going down that way. But again, this is what's going on. All right, let me actually take a pause and moment to see what you guys are saying here. Rocky says this is absurd. It absolutely is. Rocky, added to you as a moderator. There you go. You're a moderator now. Margaret Gordy, Southern Comfort, American Misfit, perverted. Milk said, Milky Azrael says, I would hurt somebody. I mean, these are children, like, our children are being, Red Eye Bradley. What up, Red Eye Bradley? I got you as a mod as well. There you go. You're added. Margaret Gordy, we're doomed. Game is over. There we go. And D says, our culture being corrupted by policy, I think she said. Abnormal is the new normal. That's right, Margaret. Sure is. So let's pivot to the next story, guys. Thank you for your commentary. All right, let's get into the TrafficK Report. TrafficK Report for today. Actually, you know what? Yes, let's get into the TrafficK Report. All right, 8 members of Kansas City, Kansas cult indicted on charges of forcing minors to work without pay. This is happening in Kansas. A federal grand jury has indicted 8 members of Kansas City, Kansas-based sect on forced labor charges, detailing a long list of alleged abuses of minors as young as 8 years old. The sealed indictment against the members of United Nation of Islam, which was hit with a nearly $8 million civil judgment for human trafficking in 2018, what has returned on October 20th as an unsealed after 8 members were arrested on October 25th, court records show. All 8 were accused of forced labor and conspiracy to commit forced labor. Not named as a defendant in the indictment is the founder of the sect, 𝘏𝘠𝘮𝘮𝘢, a truck driver who proclaimed himself as Allah after claiming he was abducted by angels who transported him through a galaxy in a spaceship and instructed him on how to rule on Earth according to the indictment. What? What did I just read? What did I just read right now? Okay, wait a minute. Rewind. I have to read that again. I got to read that again, okay? I got to read that again. 𝘏𝘠𝘮𝘮𝘢, a truck driver who proclaimed himself Allah after proclaiming he was abducted by angels who transported him through a galaxy in a spaceship and instructed him how to rule on Earth according to an indictment. I'm gonna continue reading this. I don't know what I just read. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's continue. 3 years ago, a federal judge in Kansas City, Kansas, ordered Jenkins' arrest after finding that he had ignored numerous court orders. Jenkins' whereabouts, however, were unknown, and he was eluded the arrest. Did I give you guys? This is from 𝘏𝑐UR.org. 3 years ago, federal judge in Kansas City, Kansas, ordered Jenkins' arrest after finding that he had ignored numerous court orders. The United Nation of Islam, or UNOI, went by several names, including the Value Creators and the Promise Keepers, and grew to include several hundred members. It operated restaurants, bakeries, and gas station and a clothing store, among other businesses in cities around the country. One of the restaurants was directly across from the street from the federal courthouse in Kansas City, Kansas, where $8 million civil judgment was handed down. The indictment says that UNOI dispatched children of its adult members to work at its businesses for long hours without pay, often without informing their parents when they were sending them. The defendants require the youth members to live in crowded conditions, follow a very restricted diet, and work long hours in the UNOI-operated business, as the indictment indicates. Conversely, the defendants and their immediate families typically resided in spacious accommodations, ate what they wanted, and worked at their own discretion. The 20-page indictment says that some of the minors were compelled to work without pay, and Jenkins created rules to control the victims, while other defendants enforced the rules. Jenkins also controlled what members viewed and read, generally restricted them from UNOI publications, according to the indictment. Members were required to wear UNOI-made clothing, often needed permission to speak, and prohibited using words like hello and say. What? Were prohibited from speaking to members of the opposite sex and non-members, and often were made to eat restricted diets limited to bean soup, salad, and occasionally fruit. The defendants directed the victims to shower in a certain way and required some victims to undergo colonics performed by adult members, and the indictment states a colonic is a procedure designed to cleanse the colon by streaming gallons of water through the tube inserted to the rectum. Victims who committed infractions were regularly punished through the withholding of food, silence, public humiliation, extra work, and physical abuse, according to the indictment. The physical abuse included hitting them with a paddle. The indicted defendants are variously accused of punishing a minor through who burned a pie, beating. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry. I have to reread that. I have to reread that. The indicted defendants are variously accused of punishing a minor who burned a pie. Oh, okay. So this minor, this minor was making a pie and burned it. So this minor got punished. Beating another minor with an extension cord for neglecting to throw out a diaper. Refusing. Oh, wow. So babies are in this cult. Refusing medical attention to a minor who fainted from fatigue and denying an inhaler to the minor with asthma. So here's the indictment right here. The indictment mirrors the findings in U.S. District Judge Daniel Crabtree, who in May 2018 found UNOI forced Kendra Ross to work without pay for the sect businesses from the time she was 11 years old. I'm going to take a little swig. Crabtree's verdict was believed to be the biggest damage award ever handed down in a human exploitation case. Neither Jenkins nor lawyers representing him showed up for the trial. 4 UNOI members later sued Ross for breach of contract and defamation. Crabtree dismissed the claims earlier this year. The 8 UNOI members named in the indictment are Kaba Majid, Yunus Rasul, also known as Yunus Rasul. I don't know what. Yeah, okay. The spelling, I guess. James Staton, also known as Adam Winthrop, Randolph Rodney Hadley, Daniel Aubrey Jenkins, Dana Peach, 𝘿𝘶𝘬𝘴𝑩𝑒𝘪𝘶, also known as 𝘿𝘶𝑗𝘮𝘮, and Jacqueline Greenwell. None of them were known to be presented by the attorney as of Wednesday. They face up to 20 years in prison on each of the forced labor charges and up to 5 years in prison on each of the conspiracy charges. Let me see what you guys have to say on this one. Yeah, this was a wild ride for me to read. Okay, this is a cult. This is a cult of some sort. This is, yeah. Let's see what you guys have to say. All right. Great. Let me see. Red Eye Bradley says LMFAO. Guy is on acid. Probably, I don't know. That was a wild ride. I don't even know what I read. Wow, prison ASAP. Yeah. All of that. This is just wild. Continued on with the TrafficK Report. Okay, so I'm going to change some wording to this report because they try to give respect to this trans person's, what's, and I just don't know because, yeah, this is Spokane, Washington. So this person it identifies as a woman, and this is the 4th offense of child sexual exploitation. Okay, this is the headliner of what you need to know. After 4 offenses related to child pornography, you know what I mean? I'm trying to censor the word. Yeah, 32-year-old trans person from Walla Walla is being put behind bars, according to the United States Attorney's Eastern Washington office. Monica Linker of Walla Walla was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to receipt of child porn. District Judge, sorry, I'm mixing all my words now. District Judge Stanley Bastian lowered Linker's sentence to 12 years suggested by the federal guidelines. So the sentence actually got lowered. This was Linker's 4th offense related to child exploitation, according to the district attorney and court documents. An FBI special agent went undercover online, which eventually led them to download more than 80 files of child exploitation from Linker's residence in Walla Walla. The person's electronic devices were seized and reviewed after confirming significant evidence of child exploitation material. A second search warrant was executed at the new residence 10 months later. They recovered a significant amount of child exploitation material, including Japanese manga comics featuring similar content. By the time the 4th offense, federal agents recovered more than 25 pairs of girls' panties and inappropriate literature. Okay, let me pause there. So let me just explain this. So they also, not only on top of the child sexual exploitation material, within this material, they found that there was depicted, how do I say this? There was depicted cartoons that was also depicting some sort of child sexual exploitation, And there are, apparently there are these people that do this, that make this type of child sexual exploitation. Linker's case was investigated in part by Donald ቮ예, I guess, the special agent in charge of the FBI Seattle division. This division encompasses Eastern Washington locales, including Spokane, Walla Walla, and Yakima. Linker is a repeat offender who has obviously not learned the lesson from its past convictions. Special Agent ቮ예 said, The compulsion to engage in this activity, even after being aware of law enforcement scrutiny, indicates the importance of keeping this person away from children in our communities. Upon the release from federal prison, Linker will remain under court supervision for 10 years. This case was pursued as Project Safe Childhood, which channels local, state, and federal resources, to prosecute those who sexually exploit children. So that's the lowdown on this person who is, this is the fourth offense. Why is there a fourth offense is my question. This 𝘏𝘠𝘮𝘮 says you should link this on your other channel's videos. I will. 𝘏𝘠𝘮, thank you so much for that. Actually, I was actually thinking that because I'm actually not. I'm going to take a little pause here. I'm actually not allowed to create posts or create videos or upload videos or stream on my main channel. So that's part of my suspension, and I'm supposed to have the suspension for 2 weeks, but that's actually a really great idea. I'm actually going to go under the comments and comment on each one. Like, you can find me on this channel nightly at 9:30. Unfortunately, that's the best thing that I can think of. So, I'm probably going to do that like after, while I'm rendering this podcast, I'm probably going to be doing that work. So thank you for that idea. That's a really good idea. But some of you guys are actually commenting on the story, not singling anyone out, but NOI has been down that underage route before. Yeah. Ruth says didn't receive the notification. Thank you, Ruth. I'm actually, I think because I'm going live from this channel, the first channel, Natly Denise, is actually under a 2-week suspension right now, so I can't upload to it. How did they get a fourth offense? Should have been locked up after the first one. I agree, Shelly. I'm not sure how. The justice system. Yeah, it's really sad. Really, really sad. All right, next one. Oops, what did I just... Here we go. All right, in Arizona, and this is a multi-state issue. Victims are asked to come forward after a 14-year-old allegedly was sexually exploited in Arizona and 3 other states. And this says, Tucson, alleged victims of 2 people arrested for sexual exploitation are asked to come forward after a 14-year-old was rescued in Tucson early October. According to a criminal complaint by News 4 Tucson Wednesday, a 31-year-old Maurice Fitzgerald Alexander and 31-year-old Erica Lucia Navarro were taken into custody October 21st after special agents with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security Investigations received a report that a 14-year-old about being exploited, sexually exploited for purposes of sexual exploitation. The court documents that Alexander reportedly recruited the 14-year-old on Snapchat in August after meeting the child in a hotel in Phoenix and allegedly sexually assaulting her, then forced the teenager to perform sex acts on an individual, which he reported received payment for. The 31-year-old then introduced the 14-year-old to Navarro, where they then took her to an apartment in Tucson where they provided her with cocaine, methamphetamine, and prescription opioids. This is a 14-year-old. The documents say that while the apartment in Tucson, the 14-year-old was forced to engage in acts of commercial sex. The 2 allegedly continued to sexually exploit the child for money in El Paso, Texas, El Paso, Texas, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Las Cruces, New Mexico, according to the document. So it kind of looks like that more western kind of West Texas, New Mexico kind of area. So if there's anybody out there, I'm going to scroll back up to their mugshots. If these people look familiar. I also shared this on the Daily TrafficK on Instagram. So if you guys do follow that, you guys can share that to your story. After the child positively identified the 2 law enforcement on October 13th, Alexander and Navarro were arrested October 21st simultaneously in Tucson and El Paso, respectively. Both were charged in sexual exploitation charges and booked with bond. Due to the victim allegedly being recruited on social media, HSI said they believe there are additional victims associated to this case. Anyone who may have had contact with either Alexander or Navarro are advised to call 520-229-5100. Hey, Ross, welcome in. Thank you guys for always always supporting me. Phelan, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. This is where I will be broadcasting for the next 2 weeks because of my 2-week suspension. All right. And this next story coming out of Oakland, California. Oakland oral surgeon gets 16 years in prison for child sexual exploitation crimes. Claims he was high on ecstasy when he tried to buy children. Yeah. I actually think I read this. Maybe I did read this story before, but this is nonetheless, it's still very crazy. An Oakland oral surgeon who admitted to trying to take 2 children from their mother, allocating thousands of dollars towards finding victims to molest, has been sentenced to 16 years in federal prison and a lifetime of supervised release. This is coming from EastBayTimes.com. Cassidy 𝘮𝘀𝘮𝘬𝘮𝘀, 38, was sentenced Wednesday morning by U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer after he pleaded guilty to federal offenses earlier this year, admitting to possessing child exploitation material and attempting to sexually exploit children. He still has active kidnapping and human exploitation charges pending against him in Contra Costa County. 𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘬𝘮𝘮 has been in custody since 2019. He attempted to take 2 young girls from their mother in Walnut Creek office when they offered the woman tens of thousands of dollars to let him take the girls. Ironically, 𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮 was at the office that evening to consult with the financial advisor amount momentaneously $700,000 debt, which authorities believe he racked up while trying to pay for children to molest. Wow. I mean, cheese and crackers, man. I mean, I'm trying to really watch how I say things, you know what I mean? Because I am trying to keep these sort of casts going, because I think it's important to deliver the news to you guys. But if I could only comment the things that I believe, like that I just believe are so atrocious. I mean, I'll continue. During the investigation, authorities found evidence 𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮 paid $55,000 finder's fee to a man arranging to find him a 10-year-old to very severely sexually exploit. But the planned deal never came to fruition. During the search of his Oakland home, authorities found heavy-duty zip ties, a bottle of syringes, a meat cleaver, and a trove of hidden camera devices. Assistant U.S. Attorney Kevin Rubino wrote in a court records. I can't even, like, what? At the time search, 𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮's electronic devices revealed that he was not seeking out local children for sex. He prowled in the dark web for videos of children being sexually exploited, included graphic recordings of girls 10-year-olds and younger being molested and raped, Rubino wrote. It's no exaggeration to say that Cassidy 𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮𝘮 is every parent's worst nightmare. That's what the attorney says. Wow. I mean, and then it's the counter defense in defense of this. And I can't even read the defense because they're saying that he took, you know, these drugs and this is why he did it. This is why it happened. And I just can't even anyway, that's the story coming out of California, Oakland, California, oral surgeon. I mean, it's a mad world out there, guys. It's a mad world out there. I come in awe, you know, every single time. I promise I'm going to optimize this cast a lot better, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, it is just an absolute, how do we get here as society, you know? And I'm sorry that I can't comment any further, but yeah, I mean, these atrocities are happening to children. As you could see there, that oral surgeon was willing to risk debts and upon debts, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to do this to kids, you know? It's beyond. So anyway, guys, since I'm streaming straight from Unravel with Natly Denise, here, you don't necessarily need to, if you should be already subscribed to this channel on YouTube. So it's automatically going to save to this channel, thankfully. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for supporting me and following me where I do the broadcast. I am going to notify a lot more people that I am here for the next 2 weeks. This is my streaming home. And I'll probably just continuously stream here from now on. You know, I think this is just the course for me now. So anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting me, supporting the channel. Also remember, countertraffickingalliance.com. Please fill out a volunteer form. You know, you can volunteer at any part of your state, your city, you know, wherever you are, or even if you're listening to me from a different country, you know, those options are also available there. So anyway, please continue to fill out those volunteer forms and actually tell somebody about Counter Trafficking Alliance. I will put the logo up here in the next cast. This is a different template that I'm streaming from. Do please tell somebody about countertraffickingalliance.com and get them to fill out a volunteer form. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting me. I will catch you guys in the next news stream. And what is today? Today's Thursday, I think. So no, tomorrow's Thursday. So we got tomorrow and 2 more days. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I love you. Have a great night. And may the Lord's face shine upon you. I love you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natly Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.